That's a spooky song to start this stream with. Hello, everybody. Ooh. We are picking up again where we left off last time. We got ourselves our art drawn up, constructed. We have our motion planned out here in our sketch layer, our little shapes layer rather. Sneaking in for a kiss, reaction, look back, return. And so all that is left today, well, it is the process, but what we are doing next is starting the animation, and I'm just now realizing I hadn't recorded any of that. Hello, everybody. This is me realizing that I forgot to record my introduction that I just made. So, to catch those watching the VOD up, we are picking up where we left off. We've got our drawing constructed. We have our motions planned out on our shape layer. We are sneaking in for a little kiss, reaction, glance away, glance back, return to the loop. So now we are moving on to animation proper. Doot. Doot. Get our guide layer a little more transparent. Get our sketches layers off because we don't really need them right now. Let's start in with our animation. Music, come back. Tweaking our music levels. Oh, my VTuber's gone. My little me isn't there to talk at you. Hold on. Come back, little me. There's my little me. Should be. There he is. Alright, good deal. Oh, tweak that music a little more. Volume-wise. Yeah, that'll be fine. If anybody finds anything too terribly wrong with the audio levels while you're listening in the chat, just shout out. Alright, let's go in here. Said last time I'm expecting to have to do a second drawing for this character. What are the names? For Josh's head when he goes in for the kiss. So let's start with seeing if we can beat that into shape or not. Oh, you know what? His head is going to have to kind of reorder the layers a little bit, so his head will go over Josh's head when he leans in. Yeah, that's good. That's the ticket. Yeah, I don't even need to check. That is definitely going to need a whole new drawing. That's okay. Let's beat the body into shape first. Since the body's motion's probably going to be pretty simple to do. Interpolation should probably give us a lot for that one. Benjamin, I'm going to need you to be a little more transparent. Cool. We'll just go ahead and turn the head off for now. And you're selecting things. Hitting my select all button. Oh, because I unlocked the wrong layer, that's why. Trying a slightly different microphone position today, which I think sounds better, but might be a little bit in my way physically. We'll find out. So we want the head to lean over, obviously. Well, here, before we lean it over, since we talked about how interpolation has trouble with rotation. Not too bad, but you can still see just a tiny little bit of mass loss in there. And we know the body's going to twist. Let's do that twist first, so that then we can interpolate the twisting motion. And then we can do our rotation by hand, since we're better at it than Blender is. So, you know what? I'm just going to turn Benjamin off entirely for right now. So how am I playing this? Let's move the arms out of the way for the moment. Worry about you guys later. Kind of friend. Hello, everybody. Looks like people are starting to come in. Thank you very much for the compliments already. Here, you know what? If we wind back a little bit, we can see something closer to our final, since we've already got our compositing setup built. Alert, come back. This is a little closer to what our final result is going to look like. Again, just leaning real hard into that 50s to 60s UPA kind of look. It's a thing I've like weirdly rediscovered for myself in the last year or so. Also, give me one moment. If you hear any shuffling around, I'm making some slight tweaks to my setup right now. Yeah, but it's something I kind of rediscovered for myself in the last couple of years, which is weird because it really kind of is where a lot of my love for animation came from. Give me 1 second, you might hear a huge mic buzz right now. I was a giant Cartoon Network kid, Tartakovsky. I'm gonna mute my mic 1 second while I make some fixes. There we are. Alright, sorry about that. And I'm also sorry if there was any buzzing coming through earlier. That may have just been on my end, but if not, apologies. Anyway, I was talking about UPA stuff. So I grew up a giant Cartoon Network kid, late 90s, early 2000s especially. Tartakovsky and McCracken were my big influences, especially Tartakovsky, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls stuff, and then when he started getting like real heady with Samurai Jack and Clone Wars and all that, that was pretty much it for me. And obviously their stuff owes a ton to this old UPA vintage kind of thing. What's the term that Tartakovsky used to throw around all the time was Hanna-Barbera anime. So going kind of in the last like couple of years, just going back and getting back into the old UPA stuff, kind of felt like going home again. Like this was very much like this is where this is what the people I loved. And so it's actually been really, really nice going back and kind of just, I don't know, like I said, it feels a lot like going home. It's got that like slipping on an old coat kind of vibe to it that could not be happier with. Alright, that's gonna shift slightly, but still maybe a little more than that, I can't tell. I Music is the, I'm going to get the name wrong if I try to say it, the Inflorescence, compilations from the Inflorescence label. This is, what is the name of this album? They have a couple of compilations. I think we're still in the first. Inflorence Records, my mistake. Yes, this is their first compilations, Floral Folklore, which is, I can only assume, named just as a prank on me specifically. It's gonna... Yeah, that needs to twist more than that. Let's start over. I'm grabbing the wrong thing anyway. Well, you know what? I should... Here, you know what? Let's move things in space first, and then start. Then start worrying about nudging things. Doot. Hello, Trike. I hate to sound exactly like I'm about to sound, but I do not know what you were just talking about. You know what? I'm probably overthinking all of this nudging right now, but since I'm going to end up just doing a pretty up pass once I move along. Anyway. Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right. Now, with the context of knowing that it's a song, GMFU by Oditari featuring, and then now I can read that last bit as a name. But before it looks for a second I was like, oh, there might be somebody just like posting key card codes or something in the chat. I don't know. This is where the internet has outpaced me. I was just telling somebody the other day, I've been terminally online since long before that term existed. But the online that I am from is very different from the one that we have today. Even out the hoodie spot. Oops. Get these two just full on curve the other direction. Now you can already see just how, ignore the fact that the arms pop off, but you can see just how much more nicely Blender is handling that interpolation. Speaking of curving in the other direction, the other line's got to shift. You know what, maybe I will do this rotation first. Because I can just go back and shift it back into position anyway, so let's just do that rotation now while we're at it. Oops, which means I need to get rid of the... Yeah, that's helping me. It's helping me wrap my head around it a lot better. Neck would be curving again, the opposite direction. Squawk, squawk, squawk. I decided to make 2 of those. It didn't. It was just an honest mistake on my part. The little 2 lines in the hoodie neck here. I don't remember why I did that, but I don't see a problem yet. I am not about to add in an entire 3rd character doing a whole dance for free. Adding that in triples my workload. Elton asked, what program is this? This is Blender. Blender, most people know as 3D software, and they're not wrong. I am actually working in 3D space right now, technically. Blender has Blender has Grease Pencil as one of its tools. Long story short, it was originally just a way to draw just a quick way to draw and like annotate some lines. Just be like, hey, over this, move this character to over here. Several feature additions later, it is hands down the best animation suite I've ever used. And it's just sitting there inside of a piece of 3D software. People are finally starting to come around to it and starting to get more interested in it. I try so... I went on a whole thing about this last stream. I try so hard not to be the guy who like tells everybody they have to work the way that he works. But if you give me the opportunity to start going off about why Blender is the best thing ever and everyone needs to start using it, I will absolutely take it. I am an evangelist. Yeah, Elton, definitely check out Blender. It is 100% free, open source software. It's famously difficult to learn. What I've been finding is people can learn it if they can dedicate the time to it very regularly. Like if you can, like, even just spending like an hour or 2 with it every single day makes the difference between whether you end up learning it or not. But I'm also not so I'm not so naive as to think that everybody has an hour or 2 to dedicate to that sort of thing every day. I'm planning on. I've been wanting to do some tutorials for Grease Pencil for a very long time. I'm waiting a little bit because Grease Pencil is going to have a big new version coming out. Apparently very soon, but that very soon has been coming for about a year and change at this point. So still a little bit of we'll see. But yeah, Grease Pencil is definitely getting some more industry attention. The second Spider-Verse kind of famously had a whole bunch of it in there just for moments where there's big, crazy, swishy lines all over the place. Guess what? It's a lot easier to do that in the line drawing software than it is in Maya. This arm would get a little bigger because it's wandering into place a little bit. And again, I'm being a little slapdash with this right now because I know I'm going to do a clean up, pretty up pass afterward anyway. But having said that, I don't hate this motion. Adjust everything else, but oh, God forbid. Yeah, that's better. Reverse the direction, a few more of these curves. This motion's probably going to need a little more babysitting than I expected, but having to animate is not the worst thing to happen to an animator. I've been Elton's just talking a little more about the way 2D and 3D get mixed in Spider-Verse. They did a lot of just absolutely buck wild stuff in there. My last few years have been, a lot of them have been spent kind of playing in a similar space, trying to find ways for 2D and 3D to interact with each other. And the more I learn about it, the more impressed I am with the way that they did it. No, it's 3D has been starving to start actually going really hard into stylization for a good while now. You know what the problem is I got this going down. It should be pointing up perspective-wise, so going to bring this up a little bit. Yeah, no, I've had friends of mine who work in 3D who have been saying that 3D needs to start breaking out of just simulating reality and start getting into becoming its own style for like I've had friends who've been like bucking for something like that for like a decade ago, and seeing it finally get there has been really, really gratifying. We're now in that space where stylized is just becoming a shorthand for like 10 different things. I'm assuming that's just another thing that will eventually grow out of as an industry, I hope. But that being said, if the worst problem we have is that, you know, things are way better and people are imperfect at articulating what they want to emulate, we're still in a pretty good spot. How's that feel? I gotta just draw this Y shape. I gotta quit faking it. I gotta actually sit down and sketch out what it should look like. So, Elton asks if this is rig based or frame by frame. It is a really weird. It is very much a both but neither sort of thing. I've gotten a little more into the basics, the fundamentals of it in previous streams. Give me 1 second to sketch this out, and I'll give you a more coherent answer than that. Give me 1 second to get a quick sketch in here so I can tell what I'm doing. Then when it's over this way, so it should be a lot smaller. So like, okay. Yeah, and then he's moving in this way. I still want these Y shapes, and I want them to be a little more clear than I've got them. Something like that. Is that not changing shape a little too much? Maybe, but I'll worry about that when I'm polishing. Well, here, Elton. Part of the answer to your question is you'll notice that instead of drawing new lines, I'm kind of pushing these lines around. I'm using these sculpt tools. And speaking of 2D and 3D getting mixed, these sculpt tools in Blender were originally developed for sculpting in 3D, like basically sculpting a character like clay. But grease pencil objects, like their lines and everything like that, are built. They're just built like, they're built like 3D polygons almost. They're made out of, and you would see this in something like Animate, which used to be Flash, or Harmony, and all that. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm using these tools to, instead of draw a whole new line, to just grab this line and just shove it back and forth into a different shape. And then the big benefit I get with that is squibbling stuff around. That's good enough for now. Okay. So Blender has has something called the interpolate tool. Interpolation you might be a little more familiar with in things like some guy goes, oh, I took Disney and I made it into 60 frames a second. And you have a whole bunch of smeary frames in between that don't look any good. Blender's interpolation works pretty differently. Basically what it does is, you know, it takes these, deformers deformers are actually not a bad way of thinking about it. It's kind of like having a deformer pen in your hand. And instead of like having deformers be like this outside tool that you apply afterward, it's something you're working with. So now that I've got, you know, this other frame, this second frame is made entirely out of the same lines and shapes and everything like that in the first frame. And I've just, like you said, deformed them with the sculpt tool into a different shape. And since Blender knows, you know, what points go to what other points in time, I can use this tool, the interpolate tool, and then it can just I can just choose exactly where I want my midpoint to be. All I'm doing is just dragging my cursor back and forth on the screen. And then that creates a whole new frame. And then if I don't like things in that frame, just go back in with the sculpt tool. Why don't I just use smear frames? Smear frames are kind of a different thing. Smear frames, I actually just, you know what, I can show you some from, or something adjacent to smear frames from the last one. Here's the animation I was working on last time.
There was once a woman who
and you see that
drank its deep blue.
Don't you have a track where you talk? You can see these big floppy feet going on while he's running. when I got multi-frame on. So smear frames are, excuse me. So I actually use these tools to make something pretty adjacent to smear frames. Like, I'm still using these same drawings of the feet, but I'm like giving them this extra kind of curve that isn't super realistic, but goes really far to showing the arc, like the path that the foot's going to travel down as it goes across, which is really useful. Like, one of the big uses for smear frames is if an object has to cover a lot of distance very quickly. So, for example, you see this back foot, this foot right here, this is the near leg, the leg that's closest to us as the viewer. And you see it slowly goes down, and then it just, boom, it like teleports all the way to the front. Like, now this foot is now this foot, and it's super snappy. But because, I've got, it's hanging behind, it's got this, kind of draggy kind of shape to it, you can tell that it's just made that motion. And that's what keeps it feeling more natural. So when you say smear frames, I'm doing a lot of using things that are like smear frames, or using smear frames themselves, but I'm using these tools in order to make them. Yeah, Elton says, do not save. Yeah, Elton basically says that a lot of their familiarity with this sort of thing is in, Elton used the word tradigital. I'm shocked I haven't heard that word before. That is very, very useful term. Thank you for giving that to me. But something I've found is, because I'm coming over from Adobe Animate, which I'm an old head enough that it's still hard for me not to call it Flash. But I will say, the more I got used to Grease Pencil, and the more I started to learn it, the more it felt like almost like I've just got this. So what I'm animating in here is a Grease Pencil object. Like you can see, it's just like a thing here floating in 3D. These Grease Pencil objects almost feel like just having a Flash file sitting in 3D for you to work with. Like coming over from Animate, I don't know Harmony well at all. I've barely used it. It's literally just a case of I've literally never been able to like afford it long enough to like teach it to myself. But I'll say, coming over from Flash, coming over from Animate, Grease Pencil felt very, very natural. Like it really did feel like an extension of Flash or of Animate. And I'm assuming that would kind of be the case of Harmony too, because Harmony's origin is basically let's remake Flash, but let's make it with animation forward this time. Flash kind of, when Flash was originally developed, it was not really intended to be an animation suite. Flash was, it's left over from the old days of the internet, and it was called Flash because it was for making flashy websites. And long story short, animators are weird and resourceful, and they discovered that what the company who had made it originally had done without realizing is they had made a very, very useful animation suite, and then it slowly turned into that. But Flash still carried a lot of its origins and its bones, kind of, and so there was a lot of, like, even for as good as it got, it still had a lot of awkwardness, still had a lot of things it had to fight, just because it was never meant to do this in the first place. Harmony very much has its origins in being a thing that a whole bunch of animators made, with the intent of, like, let's make our dream version of Flash. So my assumption, this is all to say, my assumption is that I think coming over from Harmony to Blender for Grease Pencil could actually be pretty graceful in a lot of ways. I just don't personally have the history with Harmony to make anybody that promise. The difficult thing about coming over to Blender for 2D animators is as much as I love Grease Pencil, as great as it has been, I have tried so hard to come up with some way that a 2D person could come over to Blender without having to learn 3D, and there's just nothing for it. You're gonna have to learn a scattered handful of 3D just to get comfortable in the program. I talk all about how Harmony is this good thing because it was intended to do animation from the jump. Grease Pencil is an accident of history. I love it. It is a perfect thing for how I work. But Blender is a 3D program, and it wants to be a 3D program, and that's going to inform a lot of how you use this software. Though I will say, and this is something I want to cover once I start doing tutorials properly, one of the things that is really nice about Blender, it is incredibly customizable. And it's very, very easy to beat Blender into the shape you want it to be, kind of. Yeah, Elton is talking about how Adobe is famous for absorbing other softwares and kind of bringing it into their house, essentially. That's a big part of why interacting between softwares can be so awkward in Adobe programs sometimes. Pardon me one second. I'm doing my best to be a little bit less lip smacky, a little less drinking on the mic. But anyway, it's why it can be so weird sometimes to have stuff interact cross software with Adobe products, because a lot of them, we talk about the origins of software. A lot of them did not start as Adobe products, and any interaction that we do have between them is just a lot of it's just Adobe backporting and getting the best they can with what they have. All right, looks like I am gonna have to draw an all new head here. So do what I want you to do. Hello, Furcorn. Catching me in the middle of scribbling in a new head for this character so I can animate him in. Touch head, get a new key. Well, not necessarily be a new keyframe. Let's just keep that there while we sketching. I'm good. Just got done going on a whole tiny mini rant about software history. Because I do have to admit, hello, you may have just heard my cat back there. Hi, yeah. She just got fed, but she's still got plenty to yell about, apparently. Incidentally, that cat you hear in the background, this is all for her. She racked up a big old vet bill. And so most of this is the whole reason I'm even doing this drawing, the whole reason I'm even taking these commissions is because that little cat racked up a whole bunch of vet bills, and some very, very nice people have been helping me pay them down a little bit. Trying to make sure the head is at least roughly the same size before I start. Bring it over. That'll do. Elton's asking about bringing in PSD files into Blender and moving them around. I have seen some people do that. Top of my head, I think you'd be better served basically exporting out your Photoshop layers into their own image files and then bringing those image files over. Long story short, I talked about how Blender is very customizable. I have seen people put rigs together like what you're describing. I will say, if you end up doing that, you're going to lose a lot of the benefit that you would get from Blender. I'm trying to think of essentially, if you do that, you're kind of left with. You're actually describing a process very similar to how I animated in After Effects for a little while. After Effects is mostly a compositor. It has, for some reason, some of the best, like some of the best rigging and scripting stuff I've ever used. Like After Effects got me to script every day, which that's a miracle. I'm not a programmer. But it ended up being a process that was very clunky because if there was ever a situation where let's say I have a character that's let's say I have a character that has I have an asset for a smiling face and a sad face, and then if I need that character to become angry, then I have to go ahead and go back over to Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever, make the angry face, then bring that back over, then build it back into the rig. Blender, you could bring all of those parts over into Blender and then assemble them together into a rig. Actually, that would be surprisingly simple to do. But you lose a lot of the versatility that you get in something like by using Grease Pencil, just native, just building all those parts in Grease Pencil in the first place. For example, here's a perfect example. I discovered that I was gonna have to build a whole new head for this character when he goes over and does this little kiss. I can just scribble that in and add it in right now, and I don't have to involve any other software. I'm also, the more I do this, the more I think I'm gonna need to draw a new head, but I think I'm gonna get a good amount of reuse of the previous head. Yeah, the more I hear you talk about working digitally, the more I think that you'll that Blender would be something that would be to your benefit. Get ready to learn a new way to draw, because again, the big benefit of working in working in Blender is using the interpolator, and the interpolator kind of has to be drawn for, sort of essentially you want to give Blender's interpolator the drawings it is best equipped, drawings that it would be well equipped to understand. But if you can learn how to do that, I'm not kidding when I say I cannot calculate the number of hours that I've been saved working this way. There is I can think of at least one project that I straight up could not have completed without using Blender's interpolation the way that I use it. The last couple of years, I've gone from I've done a handful of these different things to now I have a TD and a director credit, and it's just because of the time I put in learning how to do this. Yeah, actually, I think a lot of this will work, actually. I'm just gonna move the mouth out of the way right now. I'm not going to delete the mouth yet. I also don't know that I like the lip solution I came up with yet, so. Yeah, because if I can save as much of this as possible, it's going to help me a lot when I get to animation. And this eye is already built to go behind the nose. I'll stash you. Well, give you a little bit of perspective for right now. Elton, if you're looking into learning Blender, I recommend you go slow. Do not put yourself in a position where you download Blender and you try to make a cartoon first. When you go into Blender, start with learning to use it as a 3D program. You know what? I'll even drop in my preferred tutorials these days. Also, this music's getting a little more intense than I was expecting. So I'm going to drop a link for Joey Carlino's Getting Started playlist. Looking through playlists. Joey Carlino is not a 2D guy at all. He is very, very much a 3D guy. His intros, his first getting started in his modeling in Blender, the first 2 videos in the playlist that I just dropped into the chat, those I think are very, very good. Just go through those. If you need to go through them a second time, go through them a second time. Those are great for building up your muscle memory and just learning to navigate the software. What is the CG Cookie? It's got the big long one. Those are both pretty simple. Like I said, those are just like two simple videos. Like they're each like maybe 2 hours long. Those are a really good quick introduction. I'm also going to drop in CG Cookie's playlist. CG Cookie's learning playlist is made of lots and lots of smaller videos. Looks like it's something like 20 to 30 videos, and they're each like 10 minutes long. Those are actually those are really close to what I learned to use Blender. These didn't exist when I was first learning Blender, but when I first learned it a few years ago, I was using the Blender Fundamentals course that's put out by the Foundation, who's the developers of Blender. Those videos are pretty out of date right now, so they're kind of hard to recommend anymore. But the second playlist, the CG Cookie one, that one does a really good job of emulating those, and the big strength of them, which is just they're smaller, they're more bite-sized. It's a lot easier to go through them a few times if you need to. They're very, very approachable. Again, neither of the playlists that I just sent you will teach you anything about using Blender for 2D, but it is absolutely to your advantage. If you're interested in using Blender for like 2D and interpolation and everything like that, it is in your interests to just get to know it as itself first, just as its own bit of software. Elton is also asking about my LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't use it often because I find it very irritating. But let's see what happens if you just search for me on LinkedIn. As far as I can tell, I'm the first search result for Matt Bixler on LinkedIn. So if you want to look me up on there, if you see a little guy that looks like this little white cartoon man that's down in the corner, you'll know it's me. All right. Now back to building this head. Just draw a new thing for it. It's gonna be a new shape anyway. I can't interpolate between it. Blurp, blurp. get that music back up because I think I'm about to start getting a lot more quiet all of a sudden. So finish up this drawing. No, I don't. That's something useful. Yeah, when I'm actually drawing, you'll be hearing a bit less chat interaction and a little more muttering under my breath. Turn the music up, it got a lot crazier. Just banging the hell out of those cymbals. But incidentally, if anyone's looking to learn Blender for 3D or especially for Blender's geometry nodes, which are a whole other kind of really cool thing that aren't relevant to what I'm doing right now, but Blender got me doing, like, building a particle, like a bespoke particle simulation thing in my spare time. That is buck wild. That is something that anyone convinced me that I could do. Nah, Blender is a thing I will always evangelize if given the opportunity. Okay, that does not look bad, honestly. Didn't lose a lot. He didn't lose a ton. Any real mass loss he's got going is mostly hidden. I think the only real problem with the body is that it's probably turned a little bit too much. But first I gotta finish this head. That look if I just do a little why don't I like it? It's just because it's so quickly because I turned off stroke stabilization. Oh, that's the mouth. That's what that. Oh, can I? Well, no, I'm not going to try to do that. Go away, mouth. Probably purse out a little bit more. So just a heads up, if you can see or hear me still, I just got a little window box saying that OBS crashed. It still seems to be running, so I'm just going to go ahead and not let that box close. But if anybody here could, well, you know what? Chat's not working now either. Hum. What am I going to do about this? If anybody can still see and or hear me in the chat, please shout out and let me know, because I'm going to do a little on-the-fly troubleshooting real quick and see whether I still exist. I can't see chat now, but if I do my job properly, I should be able to in a second. So just holler at me real quick and let me know whether you're still there, and I'll, God willing, I'll see it in a minute. Saying some words so that chat knows I'm still here while I'm thumbing through some stuff. Trying to check and see if I just went away. I'm coming, chat. I'm coming. Alright, as far as I can tell, I am still live. How do I see the chat? Where's the chat go? Chat, where'd you go? Oh, stop. Alright. So I have verified my stream is still running. Still have not been able to see the chat yet. If I click over here. All right. I have what will probably be what will probably have to be my temporary solution for the rest of this stream. Where am I going to put? I basically got the chat open on my phone down in the corner, which I can only assume means I've lost all any moderation tools I had. Let me try another thing. I'm sorry, this is quite possibly the least interesting thing that could happen right now, but I'm still new at this. So, YouTube, do not sell me a family plan at this point in time. Promise I'm still here, chat. I promise. I'm still here. I still love you. Do. All right. And now I'm just going to wait for... I basically got the chat running on my phone as well. Or I've got the stream running on my phone as well. So I'm going to just hang out for a little bit and let that catch up. Chat still seems to be live in the sense that there is somebody in here telling me that they are Skibbity Riz. So, yep, alright, we're still good. We're still alive. I think my recording's still going, so I'm just going to let that crash warning hang out. And I'm assuming if I give it any information whatsoever, it'll shut down on me, so... Please enjoy the rest of my tentative, delicate stream I've got going right now. Make that net curve a little bit better, a little nicer. Make it nice, make it perfect. There we go. Take that. All right, and so this would so we still got our motion. Oh, not here. My screen might look like a bunch of spaghetti right now a little bit, trying to figure out exactly what things I need on and which ones I don't. You know what? We don't need you right now. Okay, cool. Alright, so we got our breakdown pose here. Bring our head down. Let it drag behind a little bit rotation-wise. So we're going to turn the face away from the camera. Oops. We want to do that on a new keyframe, not just obliterating the old one. Alright, brought the head down. Get a perspective on the face, have the nose start to cover the far eye. Move the whole face over a little bit. Again, we're turning the face away from the camera even though it's moving closer to it ostensibly. That's just to get a nice little bit of a nice little sense of drag, sort of a little bit of almost secondary motion. But we'll have the hair kind of coming forward, which is a little more accurate to what would actually be going on. Those little hair bits get pulled that. I'm gonna do a quick recording stop. Well, I don't want to do a recording stop because I'm gonna pause my recording on my end in case this crash turns into an actual thing. But I don't want the stopping to be what crashes it. We're gonna have interpolation. Still heavily favor the in. Dun, 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 dun. Kind of a little bit of a roll, like he's kind of chubbing out that way. Hey, you know, I was worried about the rotation falling apart when I did this, but it was okay. Yeah, I like that a lot. And those little hair flitters are going a bit too far. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Yeah, it's too much. Was it too much, or are they just not following in the direction they actually came from? Yeah, because they haven't gone that far. That's the thing. No, I didn't do too much, but I'm pretty happy with the result. At least so far. Yeah? What do you think, Kat? Do you agree? Click, click. I don't know if you can hear her little kitty cat claws clacking around as she walks. I always think of her like that Always Sunny episode with the kitten mittens. Your cat's making too much noise all the time. Oh, you know what? I want this to be the same kind of closed eye shape. Did I hide the... I just shut the people up there. That's fine. I can do that for that too. Give myself some work for a little later, but maybe I deserve it. Overshoot. I can do that. I'm good at it. drag behind instead. You don't think so, Cat? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're yelling a bunch, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're real yelling. Your life's so hard. I got sick like a couple weeks ago, so, you know, you should probably look at me all the time. You're alright. Bunch of tweaking on this. Give it a little bit more life. And also just make sure it's not being straight up inaccurate in all the ways that it is. Maybe the less interesting part, which is probably why I lost so many viewers. So the part in the stream where you can get away with saying just abhorrent things. And you'll notice that I haven't, because all of my opinions are good. These little hair bits can get a little swoosh here. Sorry, I don't have interesting things to say. Just nudging along some parts. You know why that doesn't look right? Because the neck shouldn't be around in that position. It should be going in the opposite direction because he's pushing his head forward. His neck is pushing his lips into place like a stamp. So it should have some thrusting, pushing motion. That's why it didn't look no good. Yeah, that's 100 times better already. I love it when it's that simple. Smooch. Smoosh his beard a little flatter. Or just maybe pop it off his chin. That'll be cute. Speaking of popping, let's pop them eyebrows up. Think. Nice. I should honestly probably have. Oh, let's. Sketch out. Too many layers up. One from there. It's the farthest part of the ease. Again, we're not leaving these. I'm not going to leave these little quickie interpolations. They're mostly for just testing. See how things look. So I'm wondering if head should have. If I give the head one more frame to come in, to start to ease in, I'm gonna rob all the energy of that overshoot. Or yeah, right. Yeah, I do. So. Frame of the first drawing coming in like that. That works. So what if I just take that move that down. Something in between the, well, oh. What am I doing here? Doot. Yeah, Rocco. This will work. This down curve-wise. kind of let the body rock forward a little. That's smushing up we talked about earlier. Might turn this into a shorter stream because of the precarity of my current situation. For anyone just joining me, OBS is in mid-crash right now. Kind of just hanging in a quantum state of crashed and hasn't crashed, so if I can get any indication from the chat, not that I'm one for calls to action, but if I can get some indication in the chat that I do still exist. I'm watching my stream on my phone right now. Seems to be fine. If I can get some kind of proof y'all exist, I would appreciate that. Now I'm not getting it to the point that I'm about to call in some reinforcements and see if anybody I know can jump in and prove everything hasn't gone terribly wrong. I like that a lot, actually. Motion-wise, at least. Can I get away with a little hair floop right here? Can. I'm happy with it. What if my interpolation factor that in? Is that going to look too weird? No, actually. Don't hate it. Ba-da-da-da-da. Pardon me for disappearing for a moment. Check and see if there's anybody who can prove that I still exist. Still hold on to the kiss for a couple frames, but smooth them out of it just a little bit. You know what? Let's have lips land. Smack a little harder on the land. Smooch. Smooch. Smack. Pretty weird. What if we move? Oh yeah, rotate that out. Oh, that looks so much better. It's gonna need a little more fixing, but fixing's just animating by another word. I think I made the guy look a little more 70s than 50s or 60s, but kind of like it. And you know, these guys, I don't know what you would call this kind of guy. I think this style of dude was just about to come into the forefront, so. Also, if anybody wanted to call me out for anachronisms in little cutie drawings that I'm doing to pay down some vet bills, I don't think any law in the world would convict me for calling them a weirdo. Let's close the eyes on this one. Get away with it. Apparently, yes. Smooch. Smooch. Probably get him back. How about the exact same frame, but one that's pretty similar? Not so much a air floop. Just because he'll be coming back with a lot less speed than he came in with. Can I get away with just... Oh, maybe. Ooh, maybe. Not that I want to be lazy or put in any less effort than necessary. I also am trying to be accurate to the period. And they were not ones to kill themselves. I say with every compliment in the world. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm gonna turn the body a little further. Or at least imply it with the angle and the curves on these. Remember, we don't mind a few little errors like that. Errors speak to humanity. Errors prove to human involvement. Oops. Let's pull the body a little further than the head will go. Maybe not that far. These are some bad interpolations, just to test our timing. Smooch. Too quick for my taste. Quick on the way out. Yeah, I like that one. Cool, oh cool. Let's make this one actually look any good. Curling this over to make the body look more like it's turned. It took me forever to truly start to appreciate just how much good sense of round form can help you move your character around. Even in like a super flat style like this. 2 hours already, huh? So we can be a little farther than this, but perhaps that is simply my arrogance. Let's move that. Start to turn. Speaking of forms, let's start to turn that face. Turn the head, rather. Use the head to turn the space. Etc., etc. Or use the face to turn the head? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Let's rotate that head camera-wise. Get that beard back on the face. Neck into position. Cheat the hair a little bit, so still wikes. Let's have the lips drag behind the most. You don't want to let go. I really like that, actually. Yeah, Rocco. So just in the course of doing this stream, I realize how often I say, yeah, Rocco, to myself, because this is not a shift, not a big difference from how often it comes up in my own brain when I'm working all alone. I want to say that reference is all old and everything like that, but Rocco had a tiny resurgence, right? Kids still know about Rocco. I'm not old. Dang. Oh, that chin drag that came from interpolation. Look at that. Definitely like a little bit of tweaking. Probably some more for coherency, but like, man, it just looks good. You meet the software where it lives. We'll give you some gold. just too close to the chin. To the head, rather. I don't know whether I want to tweak the head or the nose. The head, turns out. This is one where we're going to have to do some pretty good amount of tweaking. One, because of the way I held the eyes, and two, for losing a little bit of head mass on the rotation. So just a little bit. Curve you down a little more. We have these eyes be smile eyes this way. Get damn irises out of here. Sick, get both damn irises out of here. I have a flicker. Oh, it's just in the thing. Shapes. Oh, it's probably left over from when I was sketching. When I was, yeah. Oops, and I missed the body interpolations. That was important and I forgot it. Alright, Iris, get back where you was. Alright, what do we have right now? Time-wise, what do we do? I'm still a little bit nervous about it. A little bit nervous about this holding pattern crash I'm in. This crash holding pattern, whatever you want to call it. It seems stable enough. Suppose I can keep going. I got Josh's animation all worked out. Benjamin's got a little bit more to do. It's okay, we won't hold it against him. Let's just take Josh away. Get Benjamin visible again. How's audio sounding? Yeah, audio seems to be pretty okay. Might be a little louder than I would prefer if I was talking a lot, but I'm not talking a lot. So, it's fine. Okay. Does this have a keyframe in it? It shouldn't. So no, don't. Have these extra. Troubleshoot. Rest. Hello to anybody who's zipped by the way. I haven't seen anything in chat, but like I said, my OBS is crashing right now. So, in fact, if you give me just 1 second, I'm going to see if I can't corral someone to come and test something here real quick. I'm sure you can have plenty of click and clacks while I do that. The loudest keyboard ever. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't like it. Do this chat. Sorry, this is uninteresting. Like I said, I'm troubleshooting over here. Alright, sorry about that. Let's go back to making cartoons. Alright, so he's got his big pop-up pose. Benjamin. No, not Benjamin. Joshua, you don't need your big, beautiful face right now. We've got some new keyframes. Let's just do the body. All except the arms. Except the arm. Put up like this. And you can't just have it all moved together at once like that without it looking real. That ended up looking really flat. Or at least making it very obvious. What you're doing. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's start. Do-do-doot. Do-do-do-doot. Da-da-da-da. This also might be another one of those tiny spans where I don't have a lot to say except for sing along with the music. Yay, my chat is actually working. Thank you. Thank you, Mitch. Alright. How badly is... Oh, you know what though? Nicholas Beadle ain't actually too bad. I don't want it to be perfect the whole way through. That's also very unnatural. But... It's really hard not to sing along to Katamari music, but I think that's only allowed if you're an anime girl VTuber. Going to do his resting position first, and then come up with his extreme. Which means it doesn't actually matter that his form transformation feels good, but it's a good indication of whether or not I'm succeeding in my goals. Rolling Stone. Don't know the Japanese words here. Head, turn in space. Do that by moving our little identifiers on the face. That'd be his head and his bangs, since his bangs kind of originate just above the face. But yeah, that seems to be working despite the fact that OBS is convinced it's currently dead. Bop, bop. No, I just said. I didn't say I wouldn't say. I said that I oughtn't to be saying. Make sure the neck is not burying anything. Also, the more I look at this guy, the more I'm convinced I kind of did Raphael Dragon Age. It's not my character. The commissioner did Raphael Dragon Age. And I'm just being faithful. Or maybe it's incumbent on me to have a better conceptualization of scrawny European guys. Maybe that. Let's curl this hair up a little bit more. restyling his expression change. I'm actually underdrawing first, which is kind of poor form, but what matters is whether it works. If it looks good, less effort. That's a big success. Let's curl these bangs a little bit too. And let's actually rock this head a little further backwards. Don't need that one so much anymore. Let's set it aside. We're going to need a baseline to set back to. That just curls my hair. I had to make this hair out of a lot of shapes, and it had occurred to me that I probably could have just done it with one big old curly Q, but I can only assume that that's going to give me more trouble down the line. Just call it an unknown unknown, basically. See how many circles I used to make this big old curly Q hair. Still maintain it'll save me work. It comes time to animation though. At this point, my big sign of success for anything is how many problems I don't have. Like, it's less like, oh, look at this, it solved all this. You know, oh, we used to do this and now it solved this problem and this problem and this problem. That I'm less worried about now. And anymore, my sure sign of success is a boring day where things didn't go wrong. That just means I solved all my problems before they happened. And I made good boy decisions somewhere along the line. My reward is less hassle. If there's anything I would give anything for at this point, it's less hassle. I would say with those eyebrows, he looks more scared than like surprised. His eyebrows are really disappearing into his head though. So let's try to make these lines look a little more uniform with each other. I actually don't mind the way they thicken out. It kind of has an eyeshadow look to it that I like. Feels like it needs to feel like these are one unbroken line. Which is to say, I'm lying. But what is animation if not an elaborate lie? You know, I was going to have him do a big overshoot instead. But the little sudden... Ooh. Yeah, you know what? What if I don't do an overshoot? What if I just... Well, part of the problem now is that composition puts him square, and this is why I should have left his head open. If I do this, what do we do with head cheat? Another fun thing you can do in Blender, multi-frame editing. Don't hate it. Small tangent with their arms right here. Do I like it, actually? Well, the problem is now he's not getting his cheek. Hey, there you go. A little bit of overlap, but look at the way that eye just hangs out in the negative space in the hair. Hold on. Love it. Probably got to tweak other guy's eyebrow a little bit, but nah, that's dope. That's the place to put it. Let me figure out what to do with his phone hand. Tuck it in, so it'd be like nerd. Oops, not you, multi-frame. Go up the rest of him. Rotate, then rotate, then rotate, then rotate. I bring his fingers so that they have a bit more of a clench. phone? My stream's running on my phone. Bring it flatter to us, maybe. I realized a little bit too late that I should probably be muting my mic while I finish off another Capri Sun. But if you could have seen the levels on my microphone when I did that. Just tuck that all the way back. See how that all looks together. Nope. Gotta change the arms angle. Thought I could get away with it. Sworn he had a little. I think I meant to give him a little wrinkle doodly here. It's too late to do that. Honestly, probably not. It'd just be sitting on top, so there shouldn't be any real confusion for Blender. An abstract concept for a wrinkle line, but maybe it didn't work. Hold on. No, just give him doot. Doot. Of course, now these two are in the wrong spot. In an awkward position. So we shove him away, get him out of here, and let me make sure I didn't just break all my interpolation of it. Alright, so let's give ourselves an in-between that we're going to turn into an slight anticipation that the head. Oops, got her face as well. And labored last time about whether or not it should be on different layers. Just a bit. Don't worry about these right now. I'm going to bend forward a little. Or not bend forward, but like, yeah, there we go. quote unquote fix this curve. Meaning, make it look like it was drawn slightly off. That way, got that human touch I keep never shutting up about. This to rock backwards. Kind of. Toots. Slight swinginess. Neck, little collar. Forward. Smooch. Yeah, doing an overshoot on this is going to be too much. It's too much happening. Too much activity in here anyway. Face down. Oh, it's the longest tool I could have chosen. Much of that hair up again. Yeah, you know what I'll probably do, like some kind of springiness once he comes up with the hair. Do that post interpolation. Oops. Didn't come with it. Crunch and curl, crunch and curl, crunch and curl the hair for anticipation. And I lost a lot of mass in that process. Take two. That's you. Oops. What a silly frame to do that. Weirdly enough, for as much trouble as interpolation has with rotation, something curling up tends to go through pretty well. I don't know what that is. Take here. Brave closed eyes. That's a reference. Those pupils there for now. If I'm going to curl it up on the end, I should probably uncurl it here. Curl up his curls. Uncurl his curls. Uncurl my curls that never stop. How are we doing on time? Where are we at? 2.5. Time just flies when you're animated. It's so exciting. This was also part of the experiment in these streaming days. To just find out if it's something worth sitting through. I don't mean for that to sound as excuse me. I don't mean for that to sound as, I don't know, hopefully not self-pitying, but it is a long process, and even having even having being a pipeline guy like I am and coming up with like here's a more streamlined way of doing it and use interpolation and it saves you all this work and it's all so much quicker. All that being said, it's still animation. It's still not something you do if you're someone who needs to be having a good time all the time. I've told a couple of people, animation isn't something you start doing because you're like super normal. You need this weird overlap of artistic creativity in your decision making, an affection for really boring labor, but also wanting to perform. It's the kind of thing you do if you want to do a lot of performing, but you never want to be there for your performance. I don't know. It's weird. I don't gotta tell anybody here that animation is a weird thing. I was doing those fingers on. Stretch it out. Dang, am I done? Hold on. Oops. Then one more. Nope, that's reacting before it happens. Yeah, I'm into it. Cool. Honestly, I can probably just start cleaning up these in-betweens now. And the eyebrows drag behind a little bit. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. It's actually pretty good. Half-lidded thing. Let's have the hand drag behind a little bit. This is moving slightly not how I want. Do this the way I don't want it to. That's not too bad. Nudge you back in space a little bit. Get you starting to nudge back in space a little bit. Drag like that. here to drag too. This to be down. So it's like that's way down. It's a resting position. Interpolate that. I can and will and should. Spring to then it'll start to no wait, it needs overshoot. Doing. There we go. Cool. That means duplicate of the head, this frame. Just keep getting knocked. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. You want to have things happen on the same frame unless you want people to subconsciously notice that it's not happening on the same frame. Anytime you hear, like, in my opinion, anytime you hear anyone give some sort of like, oh, you should never do this, or you should always do such and such, what more often than not, again, in my experience, what they're saying is, this is something that's noticeable, or like some version of this will feel very striking if you do it, which sounds like I'm saying you should always, sounds like I'm saying that, like, anytime someone tells you you shouldn't do it, then they're wrong, and you should, not necessarily. Any version of, like, a perfect example would be your shadows in your if you're like painting something, or you're doing like shadow tones or whatever, you should never ostensibly you should never use black. Like, you should never have like pure black in your shadows. It ends up making them look really desaturated, and you end up losing a lot of value, and this thing and that thing. And that idea isn't wrong, but mostly it's a case of like, that's basically right, but it's one of those things that it's like that what they're saying is, if you're using a lot of black in your shadows, it's going to be very noticeable, or it's going to look maybe unnatural. It's certainly not going to look realistic. But at the same time, those things, those like bits of unnaturalisticness, whatever the hell you want to call it, they jump out at people. They get people to notice things. And it kind of comes down to what is it? You got to know the rules in order to break them, kind of thing. That probably would have come out a lot more coherent if I had planned to be talking about it before I started talking about it. I'll come up with some way of mentioning that works later. Just worried about the outline curl springs. Get the rest of them to go along with it. Why don't I see onion skins? Because I don't have a clone for everything. Yeah, dingus. And I obviously need to be doing that with the other curl too. Smart boy. Mass in the process of this. Remember last stream how I was talking about how much I like animating here now? I'm addicted to motion. I get like just the right motion going, and I'll just loop it and watch it happen over and over and over and over again. good though. Boing. I might not even do the keyframe on the, or the in between on the way out. Okay, now let's get the rest of it. What's our time at? We are at 3 hours? 3 hours ain't bad. I'll probably cut it in about 15 minutes or so. 2 to 5 seems like a good time. Good whatever word I'm looking for. That's gonna go here. Which means you blob go here. Do. Cyber Sarashu again. Yeah, it is. That is good. Glad Link's Awakening is having this weird like mini revival it's going through right now. It's not even just such a good game, it's such a weird game. The best Zeldas are the weird ones. Majora's Mask was good as hell. Link's Awakening was good as hell. And then the entire world. They completely broke from the formula, and then they did Breath of the Wild, and the entire world lost their damn mind over it. That is some shit. Every time they experiment with Zelda, it goes really well. Oh, Link Between Worlds. Didn't play that one. Everybody who did absolutely loved that one. Apparently it was a huge part of them figuring out what they wanted to do with Breath of the Wild. Just basically like, what if there was a Zelda game where we let you just do things from the jump? Turns out the thing everyone was complaining about all these years. Oh, big shift music-wise. There we go. Pardon me. Now you see why I use all these shapes for my hair. They're all getting used. Think an unbroken line happens easily? Dare you assume anything about me or my work. You can tell him that this is how you can tell him it's starting to fade a little bit. Man, people who do these like 5, 6, 7 hour streams, how on earth do you do that? Like, I'm enjoying this. I'm 3 days in. I'm already a little bit this is not as easy as it looks. How about that? Other side. Easier, simpler. Doesn't mean easy or simple. I tell people about making art these days in general, so like surviving as an artist. You gotta be real careful about words like easier, or easy rather. Well, I used to say it's never been easier. Now it's a nightmare. Yeah, sorry I've gone radio silent at the tail end here. It is getting to be that time. So I think, what time is it? 10 till 5? I think we're going to finish this little hair bit up. Give him a couple blinks for his motion. And then my collar string. I know you're selected. Oh, the face. Fool that I am. The face is separate. Those blinks. Come down into each other. I have another one. Normally, I like doing a little bit of eyebrow motion with the links as well. I was gonna say it wouldn't quite be era upwardly, whatever that means. But also, I feel like they would too. Blink, blink. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames. I'm gonna realize what's happening. Open. All right, where we get? Let's see where we got on this one. Got one character finished. One character pretty far along, honestly. I got one more antic of him turning away, and then turning away and blushing, and then closing the loop. But that's not bad for a couple hours worth. What do I say? 3 hours worth? Yeah, 3 hours. I'll take that. All right, everybody. Thanks to everybody who came by. Thanks to everybody who's watching afterwards. Sorry, so much of this stream got eaten up by weird technical wackiness. But I appreciate you being here for me. And if this crash did indeed ruin my ability to record this, then the one person who's left idling will get to cherish the memory forever. All right, goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye.